Hi crafty friends, Shana from ShanoukiArt. We're working in the Gluebook today. In my last Gluebook video, I asked for suggestions for a color for the next page. The most commonly requested color was yellow. I've gathered all my yellow supplies, I have my yellow shoe, and we're going to get started. But before we do, this page with the writing, which was my first page, has really been bothering me every time I open it. I don't like that I've used multiple colors in my wording, so I'm going to change that quickly. I've got a piece of mixed media paper. It's from the same book, so it'll fit perfectly. I've just trimmed off the spiral end, and I'm going to rewrite my wording using one color pen. At first, I liked the multicolors, but then as the book has progressed and I've used a single color for all the other pages, I wanted it to match. So I'm going ahead with just a purple pen. I'm going to stick that in with double-sided tape. I'm also going to add a small amount of liquid glue just in the corners to make sure the corners lie flat. And this makes me feel so much better. I now love it. Right, with that fixed, let's get on to the yellow page. If you've never done a glue book or this type of collaging, I would highly recommend that you try it. It's extremely therapeutic and so relaxing. I start off by cutting just different size rectangles or squares. I like this glue book to be a little bit more symmetrical and even, so I'm not doing torn edges. I am cutting them and I'm trying to keep to a rectangular or a square shape. I have some lovely papers with embossing which create a beautiful texture and add so much interest to the collage. Even if you don't think you use a color often, like I don't actually often use yellow, it's not one of my favorite colors to do mixed media with, but when you go through your scrap pile and all your bits and bobs, you actually will find a lot of that specific color. Perhaps because you don't use it often, it just piles up, or maybe you've never noticed it before because your eye doesn't draw there as it's not your favorite color or it's not a color you often work with. And it's okay also if you don't have a lot of pieces that are that specific color. Don't forget we can use magazines and even bits of junk mail like advertisements have bits of color in and interesting, maybe pictures that we can use. I always encourage to use what you have. Also, glue books and collages don't have to be one color. That's just the theme of mine. You can do one that's just all your favorite things or all your favorite colors. It's the things that you love. So I've cut a whole lot of pieces and now I'm going to start sticking down. In no particular order, I tend to start on the top left and work my way across to the right and then down, sort of in a clockwise motion. That's just the way I like the flow to go, how it feels comfortable for me. You can start wherever and move in any direction you want. And I'm using a glue stick. It's just paper on paper. I don't really have any chunky elements that need anything like a craft glue or a Mod Podge. For now, it seems that glue stick is sufficient. And you'll notice I'm overlapping my pieces just slightly. This is to make sure that there's no gaps of the white paper showing underneath. If you're following my full deck challenge 3, some of these pieces you may recognize. I recently did the card number 3 with the prompt which was yellow, and I had all these elements as part of my stash that I was going to use for the card. So thankfully everything was pretty handy. Another embossed one, I really don't remember where I got this from. I've had them for a really long time. And when I went to glue this, I noticed it actually has a gold foil on the one side, which I didn't know or remember. So that was an added bonus. We now have a little bit of bling on this page. I'm going to continue cutting and pasting. I'm not going to talk much unless there's something that I am doing that I'd like to explain. I don't like to talk just for the sake of talking or filling space. I would rather you just enjoy the process of what I'm doing, and if you like, you can always put on your own music or a podcast while you're watching. And as always, if you have any questions about this page or any of my other work or things that I use or ways that I do things, please do mention them in the comments. I will do my very best to get to answer them as soon as possible. I have this spotty scrapbook paper, and there's some yellow circles on there with some sort of vintage writing which I really like. So I'm just going to use my round punch and punch those out and actually use the circle shapes on the Gluebook page. I also like repeating elements on each page just for continuity and balance. I've used the same paper in the bottom left, so I'm going to put a piece somewhere else on the page. Prints are great too because they add an element of difference. I've used the white and yellow stripe on the top right, so there's that white that breaks the yellow, and this paper that I have which looks like hand-painted yellow circles on the white background, I think lighten the entire look and break away from a solid yellow. Loving the stripe, so I'm going to use it some more. And my shoe for this page, because as you know, this is a shoe themed glue book and every page has a shoe, is a ballet style slipper with ribbons, which was a little tricky to cut out, but I got there in the end. And it was worth it because it's going to look great. Just trying to find the perfect placement for the shoe, and then also filling some of the gaps and overlaps with some smaller elements to create those layers of dimension. A Gluebook page or a collage doesn't need to be flat. Don't want the green leaves on this yellow flower, I just want the flowers, so I'm adjusting the die cut to suit my needs. And then I decided to trim the roses a little bit more and remove all the white edging. And even though I actually hate fussy cutting, I found myself fussy cutting quite a lot for this one. I have these yellow roses too, so I'm going to cut them out. I'm happy with the placement of everything, so I'm going to glue it all down. And I really love the way this shoe looks with the ribbons. It's really very effective on the page. I found some more flower die cuts and some rub-on stickers with yellow flowers. These are available from Taperlogy. I will put a link in the description box below. So I'm going to place a few rub-on stickers, which I think add nice detail to the page, especially where I have larger areas of just plain color. For some reason, I want to add a bit more yellow underneath the circle, so I'm just lifting it up a little bit, and I'm going to add a bright piece of yellow just underneath, and then press the circle back over. Just trying to see where this little heart die cut will look best. And a little bit of sunshine always goes well on a bright yellow page. I think I'm done. I'm going to now add the writing on the left hand side. I actually really like this part because I like practicing my handwriting in a larger font with a marker as opposed to just writing with a pen in a normal size. I use the ruler as a guide so that my writing doesn't go too wonky. I really hope you enjoyed this Gluebook page and were inspired to create your own. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Thanks again for watching, happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.